I've just deleted all my files off my GoPro. I can't believe it. What an idiot. I just did a beautiful before and after of how you lubricate the roof, and I pressed the wrong button and I've deleted the lot. So go treat the missus, make sure the wife's happy. That's far more important, you know what I'm saying? Second time round, I'm going to show you importantly how you get the roof into the half open, half closed position using a very technical piece of specialist equipment. A bit of 14-inch wood. You're now going to see that I've actually redone all the seals. They're nice and lubricated, they're all nice and clean. It's a shame because I had a great before and after of when they look all dirty and why you need to keep them clean and how they actually slip and slide over one another's seals. But never mind, you can see how and where you need to do the lubrication. So let's get into it for the second time.
Let's move on, 'cause it's time to move on.
So you want to stop the roof halfway and pay attention because you've only got a certain amount of time to make sure you keep it from locking and coming down on itself. You don't want to trap your fingers. See how I did it just there? So to stop that happening, you can either put the key in the ignition and then you get about 5 minutes and it will beep at you when the roof is about to close. And to stop it from closing, in case your hands are anywhere near the mechanism, this is where this little bit of 14-inch or about 350mm piece of wood comes in handy, and it's actually in the manual. So this is what you do. So you get into about this position here and listen for the ding. You haven't got a lot of time, especially when the key's not in the ignition. Get this and make sure that it's wedged in place like that. So here you go. It's crude, but it works. This is exactly what it actually says in the manual. It's just a short piece of wood, I say about 14 inches or 350mm, and it prevents it closing down. The chiming, the ding, which is every second or so, that will stop because it's now gone into this resting position. And this will then prevent you from getting the roof closing down on you. Because if your hands are anywhere near here, it's going to be very dangerous and you need to prevent all this from closing on you. So make sure you do things safely. And of course in this position here, you can access the underside here. You can see the bottom rubbers. You can see that this is now opened up. The window is in the half open position. You can see where it pivots in the middle. So you've got access to this strip here. You can clean underside and importantly these here. And on the other side, you've now got access to it. So simply get yourself some isopropanol or anything that flashes off quickly. Flashing off just means it evaporates fast. Now I've already cleaned all these rubbers already, but just go over them and get rid of all the dirt that you can see. The reason they're shiny right now is because I've already got the silicone lubricant on. As I told you, I stupidly deleted all my files, but it doesn't matter, at least you can see how I did it. So get them all nice and clean on the metalwork as well. Go all the way underneath here. So clean on this side, clean on the other side as well. Okay, so now on the bottom of the window, get that nice and clean. Just look for where the rubber makes contact and provides that seal, and just make sure it's nice and clean. Likewise in here, where this rubber here will fit on the underside of this window. So give it a nice clean on both sides. So this seal here goes to the underside of the trunk when it comes down. I've done a video before because I found that where this over the years just slightly sags, it allows a few drips of water to get in, and then that's when you get water in the trunk. And I did a video on how to actually prevent that. And this little tube here is my little fix. It's a small tube, it's about 10mm in outside diameter, and I simply place it inside. You can see the tube there moving in, and all it does is it just prevents that rubber from sagging and then gives me a tighter seal and stops the water going in the trunk. Have a look at the video in the link below and it'll show you how to do that in a bit more detail. Obviously work your way along and do the complete seal all the way. So now looking up underneath the trunk, this is the area where it makes contacts with the seal. So get that nice and clean as well. Inside here as well, make sure that's got no debris and dirt in there. Get that nice and clean. And obviously do the same on the other side. So now on the top here, just make sure that there's no dirt or leaves or anything inside this seal. And this here, this flat face, this is important because this is what actually sometimes drips, especially on my passenger side. We're going to get that nice and clean, and you'll find by cleaning all these seals and putting this special lubricant on that it will allow the rubbers just to pull together just that bit more tightly, and it'll give you a better seal on your roof. And then likewise clean underneath here where the metal will make contact with the rubber, and clean this little rubber mating face here. This goes on to obviously the other side, and it's important that one there because that's where the water can come in. Okay, good. Right, so you've got your Mercedes roof, all the seals are nice and cleaned, and it's ready for a bit of lube. Okay, so before you start going and sticking on any lubricant, like people start using WD-40 and stuff, actually WD-40 is not a lubricant. It's actually a water displacement product. That's what WD-40 is. I'm not going to go on to that, it's another subject. But yes, it has some sort of slipperiness to it, but it's not what you need for rubbers. Neither is sort of mineral oils and things, because actually that can swell the rubber, so you don't want that either. So the correct product to use is from Mercedes. Now, it's going to come at a cost. I just had a quick look online, and the cheapest I can find it on eBay is £54. £54. It's a tiny little 10 ml bottle. Yes, it'll last you a long time, but it's no bigger than the sort of thing you put eye drops in. The part number, by the way, if you want to buy the original product, is A000-989-3660. But for things like this, so long as you know what the actual lubrication is and you can get an equivalent product, then go out and get it. And I have just the thing for you. So I had a look into this. That product is basically pure silicone. It's important to use pure silicone because rubber loves silicone. It lets the rubber glide nicely, it reduces that coefficient of friction, and it allows the roof to come together and really pull in tight. So now that you've got rubbers nice and clean, adding a tiny bit of this silicone will give you that extra movement to get that roof to pull down nice and tightly. And this is the product here. It's in the link below. I've got a little groove on shot. It doesn't cost you any more. I get a tiny bit of commission, and it helps me make these videos. So appreciate it, by the way, if you took the time to subscribe. That's really kind of you. So this is it here. This isn't 10 mLs, it's 50 mLs, and it cost me £7. So instead of £53.70, call it £54, I'd rather spend £7 on this and save the best part of what, 48 quid, buy myself a takeaway, go treat the missus, make sure the wife's happy. That's far more important, you know what I'm saying? So this stuff is used for 3D printers, and it's because they have a lot of plastic parts and rubber parts, and they've got to keep the machine working correctly. And that's what this is. It's just pure silicone. It comes in a handy little bottle. You only need a tiny bit. This thing's going to last you a lifetime, saves you heaps of money, and this is how you put it on the car. So get yourself some rubber gloves. Don't bother with the cloth, you don't need it. And then just put a couple of little drops on your glove or on the rubber. That's all you need. And just rub it in, just massage it into the rubber. That's all you need to do. You'll use very little, less is more. So just add a few drops, not very much at all. Just use your glove and just rub it in. Massage that silicone oil in. This is why it's so important that you got that piece of wood in the front there to stop it from closing on you. Please make sure you do that. Last thing I want is to hear that people attract their fingers. Get it on both sides, up here as well. You just need a few drops, that's all, not much. Less is more. And do that everywhere where these rubbers are going to interface with the car. Just think about which face of the rubber is going to be sealing against whatever object, whether it's the window or the trunk, etc. As I said, you don't need very much. I'm only using a tiny bit. This is a key one here, make sure you get this. And likewise on the opposite side. In addition to the silicone, you can use some normal grease just inside the locking mechanism here. Okay, so with all the rubbers now lubricated, don't just go taking that piece of wood out, just lower the roof all the way down and let it drop out by itself. Okay, so that's the roof safely away. Here's your handy little tool, keep that. Let's see how the roof now closes and see if it's any tighter. By the way, all I'm doing is holding the remote key against the door lock. You can see when this comes down that it pulls in that seal nice and tightly now that we got it lubricated. It pulls in nice and tight.